Of applause. We're, we're just going to change the program a little bit. We're going to take a 10-minute break right now. And we'll take another 10-minute break after the next panel. Please talk amongst yourselves. Isn't this been rich and rewarding? And it's given us more information than we can even handle. But it's like walking into a library. We can't read every book.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
What a great. Okay, we're going to get started again. Let's put our dealers up here. We're going to get started again.
Yeah, you gotta go this way. Yeah, I don't either. I'll be here. Oh, wait.
Wasn't that a wonderful beginning? It really was. Panelists, 10 minutes each. And we will then open the floor to discussion. I think, David, why don't you go first? No, we're going to, you want to go first, Tina? Okay, Good.
Let's see. So I think we may all try and keep this introduction a little bit briefer so we can open up.
Have a PowerPoint?
I do, which is
Okay, there we go.
loading now. Oop. So I think we might try and keep this brief so we can open up to a little bit more discussion and questions. First off, I would like to thank FOPAS for having us here, Friends of Painting and Sculpture. If you're not a member, they have some information out in the front. We encourage you to look into that. Thank you to our court jester and moderator, Timothy Standring, and appreciate the opportunity to be here today. And thank you, everybody, for being here. The one thing that I'd really stress as an art dealer here in Denver is that, and speaking on behalf of everybody that owns a gallery, works in a gallery, artists as well, we are in this because we are very passionate about what we do, and we're not in this to to gain great fortune. The fortune for us is to be able to open up our doors and share our passion with everybody. And that's really what drives what we do. So one thing that I would certainly stress with everybody in here, take the time, come in, visit the galleries. I know that we can have intimidating spaces at times, but again, we're really here. I think a large component for us mounting these shows is to be able to talk about the artwork that we have on display, to be able to have those discussions. So kind of addressing a point that was discussed a little bit earlier, this idea of virtual reality is not a replacement for walking into a brick and mortar space and experiencing the art and engaging with those of us at the gallery. And with that also, I think, comes a real trust and friendships that are developed as well. And it's exciting to look in the audience and, see a number of folks that, myself, I've been able to develop some friendships with and have these conversations about art. So again, I think going out to the gallery and really experiencing the artwork on display is just very critical. I figure I'll just click through some slides here. If you haven't been to my space, we're in Lodo, Amazi, between 15th and 16th. Just clicking through some images of our current exhibition. We have one young artist who's recently graduated from CU Boulder, Dylan Gebbia Richards, and he has these lovely wax paintings that are made with paraffin wax, and along with him, wonderful artist Chris Odie, who is a Denver-based artist as well. Another artist from this region, Donald Fodness, in our project space. It's an image from Penelope Umbrico, our next exhibition at the gallery. And following that, the wonderful Don Stinson. We'll be showing the work of Don in May. Another artist a little bit later this year. This is an image from an installation from Adam Milner, who's a younger artist who used to live here in Denver, is now finishing up at Carnegie Mellon. And this is an image from a show that he recently had at the Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh. We had his objects on display right next to Andy Warhol's objects that he was able to comb through in the archive, the Warhol archives. Joel Swanson. Cheeto sculpture from an artist, Mike Womack. Painter Leon Ben. Artist Jason Middlebrook. So I'll just scroll through this quickly, but just giving an idea about the gallery and the exhibitions we mount. Painter Sarah McKenzie, it's based in Boulder. Another component to my gallery, we participate in a number of art fairs, and these are just a couple of photos. Again, these are some tables of Adam Milner's work, some scratched photographs from Christopher Russell.
What fairs?
I participate in fairs internationally. This is from an art fair in Miami called Entitled, and again, it's a way for us to support our artists. Close out just by saying that this is a big component to the gallery is really these opportunities to share the artists that we work with and represent on a national and international level by participating in art fairs that have an international audience. We publish catalogs for exhibitions at the gallery as well, and again, just try and provide tools for supporting artists in every way that we can. There you go. That's a little introduction on the gallery.
Mic down a little bit. Good morning, everybody, and it's so nice to be here. Thank you, Timothy, and to FOPA for hosting this event, and so glad to be here and to be a participant. It really means a lot. So I missed the memo about the presentation, although I do have a visual presentation. So I am going to try to flesh out what I have here as bullet points that I thought we would discuss, and hopefully later we will be able to discuss more in depth. So I'm going to go off of what I was sent initially, which were questions that were posed as some things and ideas to think about. And, they might be a little more, I would say, on the mundane side. It talks about more about being an owner, director of, excuse me, I just realized I didn't even say who I was. Let me back up. I'm Tina Goodwin, and I have Goodwin Fine Art. It is located in the Golden Triangle, 1255 Delaware Street. In fact, you can see the Gio Ponte building reflected in the gallery window. I opened my gallery in 2011, And I've been in the business in some shape or fashion for about 30 years. I started very young. And but as David, just building on what David said, I wouldn't be doing this without my passion, my love, which has been with me forever in terms of art. And being engaged in it on a daily basis is truly a gift. And I'm forever humbled by the artists that I represent, that I get to meet, and the ideas that they share, the ideas that they bring to fruition. It's always truly a learning experience. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about running a gallery in Denver, first thing that comes to mind is, of course, yes, it is challenging. But again, as I said, it's rewarding. Similar to any business, you have things that you need to pay attention to in order to keep your doors open. So you have the mundane things of overhead expenses, where you allocate your budget, and you wear tremendous amount of hats, and you're pulled in many different directions at any one given time. And of course, on the other side of it is you're promoting this creative endeavor, and this creative endeavor of, again, artists that you are representing, and they're professional artists, and they work hard, and they're dedicated. And you hope to provide a platform and a forum for them to exhibit their work and also to engage in that community discourse. I will admit that today we are living in this, very fluid and changing environment with regards to so much being digitally offered. And, I think a lot of people have already touched on it, that, the importance of, going out, going to the museums, and of course I'm preaching to the choir here, but, and getting that experience and having that community experience of seeing an art piece and seeing it within context. And then, of course, galleries, through the galleries, and when we have openings, it's, about that community engagement, people discussing and talking and seeing what they're, how they're referencing or how they're responding to the work. I think that for the younger generation that, can maybe get lost. I think they're, and again, I'm making broad, sweeping generalizations, and I don't mean to, but I think that they're very used to their devices that they hold all the time, and, pulling up Instagram and, going through, whatever, thousands of images that are all available to them at the click of of the screen. So, anyway, let's see here. I think I've gotten a bit off point here, off target. Let's see. Yeah, and again, I think the culture, the larger culture, it is wonderful with all the new things that are available to us to view art. I mean, there are nomadic museums, there are pop-up shows, and all of these, I think, do add to the health and vitality of our, arts engagement and the community. And again, if I can go back to being a gallerist, I also like to encourage everybody, to come out and to seek out, to go to a gallery opening. Again, just the importance of that, because, as I am more aware of maybe, is that, I think a lot of people challenge or question the relevance today of the brick and mortar and, gallery. And I, of course, still feel very committed to that, and I think it's important, and hopefully will continue. Oh, this hasn't even been going. So sorry. So sorry. Hold on. Where's the clicker? Oh, I thought it was supposed to be on a rotating. Sorry. I did have, okay, thank you. What do you do? Just go click?
That's the...
Sorry. I apologize, and I'm going to finish up just with this, my visuals.
The big one.
Oh, the big one? This one? Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, thanks. I don't need that. Okay, so anyway, so what I have here up on the screen, and I apologize, I thought that was running. These are some various installations, recent gallery installations by gallery artists. This is Mindy Bray. She is interpreting the built environment through using watercolor and ink on stretched watercolor paper, and recently started adding a resin or three-dimensional component. And she also has a really wonderful commission out at the Westin Hotel Transit Center out at DIA. And this is abstract painting by Mark Villarreal, Andy Berg. And again, this is just to show you just the variety, hopefully, of some of the work that is exhibited and promoted. And this figurative works by Margaretta Gilboy, and Jennifer Nerbos of New Mexico. Patrick Merrill, this was an installation this summer of sculpture, and then what was interesting about this show is that he actually used his sculpture, it was sort of the inverse of his process, in order to create these massive charcoal drawings. He actually used the sculpture that you see in the foreground. And then this was a month of photography, and a lot of people, again, using still old processes, traditional processes, analog film, 8x10 view cameras. These are daguerreotypes by Bindon. Sean Huckins, who is text-based contemporary artist, using 19th century domain public images and then overlays of text that he mines from the internet via tweets and whatnot, and sort of you can look at it either as an evolution of our language or a devolution, whatever your vantage point might be. Andrew Beckham, photographer, and a book that he made. Ashley Williams, painter. And then Kimberly Sullivan with her resin pieces. And let's see, I'm just going to click through here real quick because I want to get Jill Hadley Hooper, who actually has a tableau currently at Precourt Gallery at the museum. And then this was a ceramic show, Thrown, Fired, Slabbed, and Trompe-l'oeil, which was actually one of the first shows. And Kate Brakey's Painted Light. And that's it. So thank you very much again, and again, I hope to see you, and I look forward to any questions you might have.
Hi there, can everybody hear? Lynn didn't tell me that there was, even though she's done a fantastic job, she didn't tell me there would be a 10-minute speech involved in this presentation. But fortunately, there are a lot of people here, I know, and as you know, I have a lot to say. You can make it in 10. Yeah, I don't know. No, I can go on for hours, really. Thank you. As Tina and David had said, being an art dealer, a successful art dealer is not just a 9-to-5 part-time occupation. It's a 24-hour-a-day proposition. And I've noticed that, of course, in life in general. I think successful people are very often totally absorbed in whatever they're doing. I've known, and I hate to use this, but I've known Kwang Ho, for instance, for many, many years, since he was a young artist. And, Kwang is the world's nicest guy, as everybody knows. But if you also look at his life, everything he does focuses towards his art. Whether he's on vacation or in his relationships, everything is focused. And, a successful, I was talking with the secretary of a major oil corporation a few days ago, and the secretary says, he wasn't in. And he says, but he works 24/7. And it's true. My wife says that they're probably, she thinks I'm married to Sachs Galleries. And so maybe I'll get buried there along with my dog Vinny. Yeah, he's my best helper. There's two things. There are a lot of things that have been said in the, especially in the critics' presentation, that somehow don't relate to my involvement in the art business. We still sell traditional works, although they're traditional and yet modern. They have something beautiful to say. Which brings up what, and our business, I mean, we're in Cherry Creek. Our business is just terrific. What we're seeing is new people coming in from all parts of the country. Maybe it's because of the marijuana. Maybe it's because of they just like to live here. Whatever the reason, our major sales are actually, a lot of them are newcomers to the area. And it brings up, though, what are the millennials interested in? And I think about this quite a bit. And it seems to me that you take the traditional elements of painting, color, shape, form, as Kwong says, the nuts and bolts of a painting. And from those nuts and bolts, you make a beautiful statement. But what the millennials want is something a little bit edgy. They want to hear, they want a little different twist to what they're looking at. And I understand that. It can make a political statement. It can make a statement about life in general. And most people that are in the art business recognize this. I was having a conversation already, at least 15 years ago, with a big dealer in London. His name is Richard Green, and he's the godfather of the English art market. And he's an old guy, but a very, very smart and perceptive fellow. So when he's talking, you listen, just like the Godfather. And he said to me, he said, Michael, this is my English accent, right? Michael, people want modern pictures. And this is a man who made his fortune in 19th century paintings. And immediately he had opened up a modern, he has his old master, he has 3 galleries, two on Bond Street, one on Dover Street, and one is old masters, but one is high-end modern. And it's true here in Denver too. I grew up in 19th century European. That was my father's business. As a matter of fact, I grew up as a teenager. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, I guess. As a teenager, I worked in my father's gallery downtown in the basement, along with an old man who had been the foreman of a big framing operation in Chicago. And he taught me gold leafing, taught me restoration. And as a matter of fact, even today, I can tell as much from the back of a painting as from the front. And I think that's one reason people might come to Sachs Galleries, because there's a depth of history and knowledge. We offer, we're certified appraisers. We know a lot about the archival requirements for paintings and restoration. But anyway, the millennials want edgy, getting back to the business today. Millennials seem to want edgy. We've taken on artists like Sarah Noel. I don't know if any of you know her. They're abstract, big abstract expressionist canvases. They're flying out of the door. I have people fighting over them. When Michael Paglia talks about the crumbling art market in Denver, he's not talking about Cherry Creek. We've had the best year we've ever had. And I know that that's an anomaly, and we're very, very lucky. We count our blessings every day. But right next door, if any of you have braved and ventured into Cherry Creek lately, you'll notice they're building an 8-story hotel right next to us. I think it's going to be another Marriott. But anyway, if you do find your courage, please come and visit us. And I'll finish this speech, but I'm open for any kind of questions about anything that has to do with painting or sculpture. Thank you.
I'd like to ask the panelists, how do you develop your collectors? I just heard a report yesterday on NPR about the funeral home industry, and you can see I'm not very linear here. And they reported that the funeral home industry will not give you any pricing until you actually walk in the door. And the reason why they do that is because they can actually sell more products. Here, you can get a bigger casket, you can do this, do that. So there is this idea of, you all talked about the physical presence, brick and mortar, the ability to come in, touch works of art, kick the tires, which is so important. It's so important. And the model you're talking about, Michael, is dealers, let's say, against co-ops. And what actually exists in our large city is that we've got different kinds of galleries. We've got traditional, we've got a little bit more contemporary components, but that's rewarding for all of us that we've got that sort of richness that exists. But what is it that what are your techniques to convince me when I walk in and say, buy this painting, Timothy? Don't leave without buying it.
We lock the door.
Yeah.
That's about as good as it gets. No. Let's see, is this working? Yes. Okay, so.
You can pull it out if you wish, too.
No, that's okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I wish there was some magic bullet to convince somebody that when they're in there that, they're going to leave with a painting under their arm or something to that effect. But, truly, I really think that, and this is what I most enjoy about it, is, first having the opportunity to engage with the person that is coming into the gallery. And not everybody does want to engage. And so, I'm always sensitive and look for those cues. Is this person wanting to learn more? Do they want to hear more? And, and if I get those cues, yeah, I love to talk about it. I love to talk about the artist. And I think that is the way in which hopefully they leave the gallery with a sense of